Okay, thank you everybody for showing up. It's interesting for PDX Cocktail Week because I'm the last session today and the last session tomorrow. And normally, being the very polite Canadian I am, at Tails, I'm put on the very first session. So the 10 seminars I've done at Tails has always been the very first session every single year, which, as you can imagine, Tails first sessions suck because no one wants to get up early enough to do this. We're going to be talking about the turn and burn and building a team that belongs. This is our little agenda. Who am I? My name is Shawn Soole. I'm a consultant out of Victoria, BC. Yes, I have an Australian accent. I am Australian, but I've lived in Canada for almost 20 years. The reason why this has been so important to me as an older person in the industry, I've been here in the industry for almost 30 years now, is one, I think there's a big generational difference and a big gap between people my age and you people in the crowd. And we have to adapt to generational changes. We need to evolve as older leaders in the industry more and more to accommodate and to train and to build our industry. I worked at a hotel for 4 years. It's a legacy brand that I helped build back in 2009, and I came back during the pandemic. During my 4-year tenure there, my turnover for the whole 4 years was 10%. I lost 3 people in 4 years out of my team. One had to go to university in Vancouver. One wanted to move up to management, and I couldn't offer her that. And one wanted to bartend, and again, I couldn't offer that. They're the 3 reasons people left. That is it. Whenever I talk to management at the hotel, I'd be like, we need to put more money into training and development. And they're like, but what if they leave? I'm like, what if the fuck they don't? what if we just change the mentality that you can stay in one job just like every other industry and stay in it for 10 years? So this is the life cycle of a regular person. Sorry for the camera and everything. I have a podcast called the Post Shift Podcast. So I record everything, and I had a few people hit me up going, I can't get into your session. Can you record it for me? I'll put this up on my YouTube channel. So this is the life cycle of a hospitality person. Does this seem accurate? Hire, train, burn out, leave. Before we get started, who is an owner in the room? Put your hands up. Hi. Beautiful. Managers. Sweet. You're the people that are going to be telling the owners that just put their hands up, this is what we've got to do when you go back. And then staff. Sweet. You're now going to go, sweet, we really need to do this. And you're going to tell the manager to tell the owner to start doing this. So everybody has a place to help this change the industry. So average turnover rate in most other industries is about 13%. That's pretty decent. That's pretty much good. What do you think the hospitality industry is? 80. 80%. That means out of every 10 people you hire, 8 will leave in the first year. That is broken. Our industry is broken if this is the mentality that we have. The whole, what if they leave? What if they stay? And again, I had staff that were with me for 4 years, 5 years, longer. And I'm going to teach you exactly, show you exactly what I did to build that sort of culture and to build that team. Again, this is super passionate. I speak really fast. I have a funny accent. So if I'm going too fast, just go, hey, just take it down a couple of notches. And when I get super passionate, I get really Australian and really fast. So this 1 hour session will probably take 40 minutes. So how much does it cost to replace a staff member? Has anyone ever thought about the quantified dollar figure on how much it costs to replace anyone? Busser, server, host, support staff, kitchen. Once you get into management, we can probably double this number I'm going to show you. For every single person you replace, it's going to cost you about $2,500. That's super conservative. Now, some might say, well, that's a little, that might scoff at that and go, well, that's a little excessive. $2,500 includes a manager or owner taking the time to write a job description, post it on Indeed, go through resumes, screen resumes, interview someone, onboard that person, train that person, have staff train that person. Like it picks up pace on dollars real quick. Everything we talk about, I'm going to give you a link and a QR code at the very end. You'll have access to the full slide deck. So everything we're doing here, plus any interview screening techniques that I've got, that's going to be a downloadable Word file. So you can download it and then just edit it for your business. And then what's the other thing I've got up there? Oh, the 90-day action plan that we're going to talk about. It's in a downloadable file that you can go through and tick stuff, change it up. I really don't care about giving out as much information as possible for free. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to make the industry better. So download all the shit. My website's got a whole bunch of other free tools. I recently released a Gin 101. How many times have you done a gin tasting? Because I was thinking, when I started doing this, I'm going off tangents, which I also do. Just give precursors to everything. I am also may swear, but I think that's in this room, that's fine. I actually already have, haven't I? I said fuck a couple of times. Okay. When I started developing my bar academy and all the free resources, like thinking back about the 23-year-old bar manager who wanted to train his staff or do stuff, and I was like, what did I need at 23 years old? And if you've ever done like just a simple staff training on a Monday afternoon with your team, you have to go to like 5 different websites, cut and paste, format, that sort of thing. I was like, I'm just going to build that. I'm going to build more. I just haven't had enough time. So you've got that. You've got a batching calculator, a costing calculator, a whole bunch of cool stuff. Just go download. So retention versus recruitment. Retention is sort of like a dirty word in hospitality. And coming from a unionized hotel background, it's even a dirtier word, because in food and beverage spaces, in hotel worlds, we're supposed to be there as an amenity for the guest. They don't care if you make money, like you're just literally there to be there for the guest. And this is where a lot of this sort of like anti-staff retention sort of mentality, they want to retain their housekeepers, they want to retain the front desk. Food and beverage is just like off the table, bugs the crap out of me. But loyalty breeds culture, culture breeds profit. If you lead with a culture first, you will make more money. And I did a few mentorship programs this morning, and I explained to people why. And I'm gonna give you $1 on how much it costs to train staff properly, to keep them but to also make you more money for owners and managers in the room. So retention first. Everything should be led to retention first. My 3 pillars are interview and onboarding. When I started building this, I was started talking about after they got hired. But then I realized that onboarding is just as important, and interview is just as important as after they get hired. So onboarding and interviews are super tedious and boring at times, and they don't need to be. AI in this day and age is your best friend. I can tell you right now, if you're a manager of a restaurant or a bar, and you go, hey, ChatGPT, please write me a in-depth job description for this job at my workplace, it will write you a gangster job description. Every job in your workplace should have a job description, from the busser to the dishwasher to the host to the bartenders, servers, chefs, head chefs. Everybody should have a job description, because it breeds transparency in their role. You can't get mad at someone if they don't know what they're doing wrong. If they don't know what they're supposed to do, and it's laid out black and white paper, you can't be mad. So everything needs a system, and I find systems in hospitality, especially say your local dive bar. Oh, what did I do? Shouldn't kick that. There we go. Break shit. We sort of go, oh, well, if we do a job description like that, it seems really corporate and icky. A system in a Michelin star restaurant or a dive bar should be similar, if not the same, because then the system breeds creativity. The system builds continuity. The system builds consistency. And even though I'm doing a seminar tomorrow about this, culture is not built out of creativity. Culture is built out of consistency. Consistent service, consistent drinks, consistent methodologies. And it seems, especially for the older generation in this room, it seems really antiquated to be like, hey, I'm going to write how a host should sit a table. Seems really self-explanatory, especially when you've been doing it as long as I have. If you write it down and then walk a host through it, they will get better at their job. If you write it down and walk a host through it, they will become more comfortable with their job. They'll become more natural when they're greeting the guests, when they're sitting people. Instead of thinking about, oh, I got to do this, because I've been told that I have to do this, they've seen it in black and white on paper. And now they can say, oh, the features tonight are X, Y, Z. Second pillar is mental health and culture. I'm a very big mental health proponent. I think we all are in this day and age. I'm very open with my mental health. If you go to my Instagram, I recently posted something about imposter syndrome. and this is the first time I've spoken in front of an industry group for about 4 years, I think. And imposter syndrome is really, really, really fucking real. And I feel it on a regular basis. Doesn't matter all the things I've achieved or done, imposter syndrome is very real. So mental health is very important for me. I like to say I tell everybody I microdose on a regular basis. Fucking mushrooms that I've just found mushrooms, they are gangster. And they focus you up, especially if you've got ADHD or something like that. I take anxiety medication. Super anxious human being. I don't like social situations. Even in front of this group, I'm still, social anxiety is real. And then learning journeys. This is something that's kind of fun and talk. I talked a lot about that at the mentorship thing today. So let's talk about the interview. So value-based onboarding. So I love the sentiment of like, I can teach you anything. I just want a really good personality. This comes back to the job description. What are you looking for in the perfect staff member? Now, if you say, I want to find the perfect staff member, and you put that in the world, chances are you will get someone very close. If you say, I want a dishwasher, you will get anybody. So being very clear about what you want is very, very important. When you see my interview screen sheet, if you go and download it, I was going to print them out, but PDX Cocktail Week was like, well, we just want to save paper and stuff. So it's all in the QR code, downloadable, that sort of thing. I always do, tell me one time that a guest, so that you impressed a guest. What was it? A guest came in really loving Montenegro, but I pushed them over to Ramazzotti, and that was their next drink. Practice skills assessment. This is on-hand stages. This is a gray area because sometimes it's legal in some states and not so legal in other states. Even if it's just a quick stage, pay them for it. Tell them to come in for 3 hours, hang out, check out the room, get the vibe. I've actually done a session on how to get a job. And if you're going for a job in a new place, the pointer, go there and see what people are wearing. Go there and see what the vibe is. Go there and eat something. Go there and drink something. Dress the way that the staff there are dressing in your interview. Like, if it's a place that you want to be at, do the research and learn. Don't be like the girl once that just Googled our menu and said that she came in and had the prawn dish that was only on the menu for 12 hours before an interview, and she definitely wasn't in the night before. Do the work, you'll get the interview. Candidate to team introductions. If you can, as a manager, have one of your older senior lead staff people sit in on the interview. It's really nice. I'm thinking the business. I'm a manager, GM, owner. I'm thinking business with culture. They usually think culture before business. Your lead staff will think culture before business. And so you can sort of tag team different conversations and methodologies. Make sure that your senior member has a poker face. I had a very great, amazing lead for about 4 years, and she sat in interviews with me. As soon as she didn't like the candidate, she stopped talking, and then we had to finish the interview. And I try and do the whole interview. I give everybody a chance. And then transparent expectation conversation. Put your hand up if you've ever gone to an interview, been promised a gazillion things, and then in your first month you go, this is bullshit. Hell, I moved to Vancouver and then moved 6 months later back home because was promised a whole bunch of stuff and it was bullshit. Transparent expectations conversations. Now, this also goes back to what we're going to talk about with like training and stuff. I always ask the question, are you up for more education? And if they say yes, great. This is exactly what I'm going to put you through in the next year. Are you up for it? Because it's all well and good that this group, this table, these tables, this room is full of people who are really thirsty for knowledge. Once you get into a job and you start having a work-life balance and stuff like that, which can't be defined, but are you up for spending your day off doing an online gin certification? Are you up for it? It's a big thing, and some people are just in the hospitality game just to go to work, just to do the job really well and come home with a paycheck. And that's completely fine. I have no issues with that whatsoever. But if I want you to be one of my team, and I'm going to invest, I'll show you in a second how much money I'm going to invest in you, I want you to want that. Same thing, conversations about management. Do you want to be a manager, or are you just the most senior person and now you're the bar manager? Do you want that role? It's okay to say no. It's definitely okay to say, no, too much fucking work, I'm done. When it comes to onboarding, so day 1, the first 2 weeks, obviously a pre-shift buddy system. Again, hey ChatGPT, can you please give me a 6-day onboarding program for a server at my restaurant? ChatGPT will scrub every Google review, every Yelp review, every article that's been written about you, and you will be surprised how close it is to your venue. And then you just edit it up and you can break it down. So your buddy system is really important. Your pre-shift check-ins. I try and sit down at the start of every shift. Sometimes I'm not there at the end of the shift. If I am, I'll sit down for 10, 15 minutes at the end of the shift and go, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Is it too much? Is it overwhelming? How can we change up this service walkthrough for you to make sure that it works for you? Because again, it's great to say we have a big, shallow workforce that we can pull from, but we don't want to be known as that place. How many places have you guys got in your own hometown that are like, oh, you don't go to that place, they're always advertising for work. They're always looking for staff. If they're always looking for staff, what is wrong? Is always my question. Welcome ritual. This seems corny, but like a nice card from the team saying welcome to our team is always nice. They do it in other industries. Why not do it in the hospitality industry? And then micro training modules. So you've got that big setup. So now pick one thing you want to go over. Okay, one day you're on Expo, just looking at the food with chef, asking chef questions. One training shift of 4 hours is just running Expo. Next 4-hour shift is just running the Expo for drinks, asking questions, tasting before they go out, learning that sort of thing. These micro training modules stop people from feeling overwhelmed and then wanting to leave. And they do leave quickly. How many people feel burnt out after their first like push fucking the deep end of the pool and you're struggling? Like those little micro bits usually get stuck a little bit more and definitely lead into more confidence. And that's what we want to build in our whole team all the time. Mental health. So 1 month to forever. So skills and stress check. This is something after you get going. So the bar around Clive's, we had 500 spirits, about 350 whiskeys, a lot of stuff that you got to keep up with. If you haven't already noticed, I speak really fast, so I move really fast. So me wanting someone to be knowledgeable in something really quick, I've had to learn how to pull that back and go, hey, what do you need to learn about whiskey? What do you need to learn about gin? How can I help you? I'm always transparent and open as a manager. If you text me and say, hey, Shawn, I'm really struggling with these cocktails. Can I come and see you? Yep, no problems at all. 2 days later, carve out time, 2:30, come in on your own time. We'll chat, we'll walk through it, we'll taste it. Schedule and energy review. This is another big one. Burnout is real. And a lot of people, I like to try and champion a 4-day week. So 36 to 40 hours, you get 3 days off. Our industry is tough. You have to work with people. People usually suck. The general consumer sucks. Let's just be honest. This is a trust tree. Guests can suck. So giving people 3 days off to recharge is always great. Also gives them an opportunity that if you want to do training and you want to sort of like nurture, that's also a big thing. Culture and connection pulse. Are they making friends? Are they feel like they're belonging? Is there something that we could be doing better to make you feel more comfortable in the position? I have a zero drama policy. So if a server is bitching and moaning about another server that's new, that person's getting pulled in a meeting before shift. Why? Why are you picking on XYZ? And it happens all the time. I just have a zero drama policy. It saves my stomach ulcers. So I just pull that sort of like, if you're going to cause drama, we're having a conversation. If you feel uncomfortable about it, don't cause drama. And if you have that from that transparency in the interview, it definitely helps. Recognition and growth. Recognition and growth. I like to always buy a bottle of champagne for my staff when they reach a yearly milestone. So it's your 1 year, bottle of champagne. 2 years, bottle of champagne. 3 years, bottle of champagne. It could be overkill, but if they also have their birthday, I'll ask them what they're into at the time. So one of my team's into tequila, Cool, you get a really cool gangster bowl of tequila. That's hard to get. Or mezcal, or rum, whatever they're sort of into. It shows that I'm trying to stay connected with my team, because a lot of times as managers, we may not be there during service. We might be in the trenches. We may be off. We may be a GM of 3 restaurants, and all of a sudden you're there during the day. You need to show recognition to every single staff member. It's a really big thing. Mental health resources. I was going to try and research this, but then I started realizing that everybody's coming from all over the country. You should have at least 5 quick and easy mental health, suicide prevention, substance misuse resources available to your team at all times, whether it's posted in the staff room, on a bulletin board. It should always be there. Whenever I have a staff member who may be acting out for any reason, again, the drama situation, the first thing I ask them, are you okay? It's not accusatory that you're fucking up my shit at work. It is, are you okay? You're acting out of sorts. What's going on? Oh, my landlord just sold the house that I live in and I have to move. And if you live in a high, expensive city like Victoria, that's extremely stressful. I just broke up with my boyfriend, or I was dating this guy for 3 months, or this girl for 3 months. But you should always have these mental health resources and have transparent conversations. My biggest thing with this is that I always want to have a tough conversation with you instead of hearing at 3 a.m. in the morning that you're gone. It's the one big thing. I lost a friend just recently. Apparently it was natural causes, but as you get older in this industry, you're going to lose friends. Whether it be substance misuse, suicide, other mental health issues, or just that we're getting older. But I would always like to have a transparent conversation with you. If I'm transparent about my mental health, last year I was having a real hard time with the hotel. I took myself to therapy, and I was very open with my staff that I was in therapy for work issues. It's not a bad thing to be a manager and have a little vulnerability, a little weakness, and a little empathy, because then you get that back tenfold from your staff. So culture-wise, you want to lead with consistency. What did I say earlier? Culture's not built from creativity, it's built from consistency. I apply that to everything. Cocktails, like you can have great cocktails from one bartender and then that same cocktail from another bartender sucks. You're not building culture. Consistency, consistency, consistency. If you lead with consistency, you tend to make less mistakes, and your team wants consistency. They don't want mistakes. Again, going back to recognition as a system, going back to that bottle of champagne. When you think about like keeping staff again, like we're talking about costs of keeping good staff. Bottle of champagne, $75. Nice bottle of tequila, $75. $150 a year per staff member. When I was working for the hotel, I would be doing that. That would be coming out of my personal pocket to make sure my team was looked after. So $150 a year for a couple of gifts to your staff, not that expensive. And I'm sorry for all the owners and managers in the room going, fuck, now I gotta spend more money. Clear standards and accountability. Again, hey ChatGPT, what are our standards? What is our mission statement? Chances are you have it in your head, like this is what I tend to have. You have it in your brain. You can write it out. ChatGPT does that for you, usually better, and exactly what you want to say in the proper way. So, clear standards and accountability. If you go, hey, such and such, you ran that dish to the wrong table, so on and so forth, they'll go, well, I was only shown, I wasn't taught. How many times does that happen when you train someone? I was shown this way, I wasn't taught the right way. Standards and accountability. I know it sounds super tedious and it's got the big folder that everybody sits down with and donk, it's dusty and everything else. Embed growth into culture. When I had one of those staff members, they wanted to leave because she wanted to get into management. We had a super small team, and I was very honest with her that she wouldn't be able to move up to management in our team, but I would always endorse her to get a management job. One of my bartenders, amazing kid, he wanted to sort of get away from the late nights. His girlfriend wanted to settle down that 2 to 3 year mark of a relationship where it's like, hey, I want you home more. Hey, I want more quality time. And so I set him up with, I was like, cool, what do you want to do then? He's like, well, I'd like to get into wine repping. I'm like, cool. He's like, I'm going to do my WSET 2 in wine just so I can get a leg up. I'm like, awesome. I was like, I'm going to hook you up with one of my winemaker friends. and make you do stages there. If you want to go and learn how to plant, if you want to go pick, if you want to go ferment, if you want to go bottle, they'll be open for that. He was leaving me. He was a great bartender I had for 2.5 years. He was leaving me, and I still wanted to help out to make sure he grew going forward. One thing I always say is that I always want you to leave my workplace a better human and a better career person. And I want to train you so fucking hard that no one else will hire you because you'll be too expensive. I'm going to give you so many certifications and so much cool stuff that you won't want to go anywhere else because no one else will have you. So, talking about toxicity, top performers who are toxic are not top performers. Top performers that are toxic are not top performers. How many times is there been a dick on staff and they're a prick? They're just not a nice human, but the owner's like, but the guests love them. Guests love them. Their cash out, always really good. Per head spend up through the roof. Everybody else hates them. That person's not a top performer. Gone. This comes down to the kitchen as well. Well, it's just chef. You know, it's just chef being chef. If chef's a dick, chef, there's no chefs in the room, right? This is all bartender people by the house. I did this at this exact seminar at a chef's conference. That joke didn't go well down at all. Especially when I suggested that back of house could learn a lot, front of house could learn a lot of stuff from back of house, like cross training and stuff. But then I was like, oh, and sous chef could go work the floor, and everybody fucking laughed. But top performers that are toxic are not top performers. If you piss off all my other staff, I am doing a disservice to my team. Go work somewhere else that you're not going to be toxic. Again, no drama, zero drama policy. Go work somewhere else that you can be that toxic personality, and maybe you'll learn to not be toxic. And again, I had a young bartender. He was my right hand. Fantastic kid, Harry. He's like 4'11" Vietnamese kid, like 100 pounds wet. If you come to my seminar tomorrow, we talk about how we got handcuffed together for a cocktail competition. I'll let that hang a little bit. But when he came into the industry, he was a post-pandemic bartender baby, and he didn't really know how to talk to the team. And he's super knowledgeable. He can read a recipe and remember it, like great recipe, remember, like you show him a recipe, he'll remember it forever. So I had to pull him aside and take lots of meetings with him because I could nurture him into being a better bartender, a better staff member, a better manager. Eventually he's taken over my role at the hotel. He hasn't listened to some of the things I've heard, but you can nurture young people who may have toxic traits because he was a perfectionist. He wanted everything the way that he wanted it, but all your staff are puzzle pieces. And if every single person was the exact same person, you wouldn't have a puzzle. It would just be a blob that can't be put together. Like, you need someone who might be strong, can deal with certain customers, no knowledge of certain things, spirit educated or anything like that. Everybody has to piece together, and it is a massive puzzle. And if everybody was the same, so when I have staff come to me, it's like, well, they're not like this. I'm like, I don't want them to be like you. I want them to be like them. I just need you to get along with them being like them. So toxic traits, I really do have a zero policy for toxicity. I'm not gonna lie, I'm ex-military kid. My dad was ex-military, so like I grew up very regimented, and I've slowly evolved. And as I said at the very beginning, as you get older, you need to evolve to the new generation. Gen Zs, Zennials, which I am, there's two different generations. We all want the same thing. We're going to the same destination on two different roads. I'm happy that I sacrificed a ton in my 20s. I'm happy that I work a lot. My work-life balance is getting a little bit better, my wife says. I know that isn't going to fit for a 22-year-old kid who just started the industry and isn't quite sure their directional place in the industry. And you have to nurture that. Especially these days, you've got to look at tangibles and intangibles once we get into the learning journeys next. Some people are tangible learners. Who's a tangible learner? Yeah? Like I can't just tell you something that's going to be done. You need to get in it and do it, right? I can read a recipe and I'll remember it. Cade, going back to Cade, he was a great kid. He never worked a cocktail bar before. I was working on a Monday afternoon. Shows up. We were shut on Mondays, but I was doing prep, and he shows up. His resume's wrinkled because it was in the back of his car, and he's like, "Hey, man, like I was just driving past." So he had to come in through the hotel lobby. He's like, "I just driving past and saw that the lights were on, so I thought I'd just drop my resume off. My name's Cade." I'm like, "Cool. Well, you know what? I've had 3 people not show up for interviews today, so I'm going to sit down with you." Sat down with him. Great interview. He left. His manager at his bar that he was working at currently was like, "You need to take Cade. If you don't take him, I'm going to fire him. So you have to. You feel guilty to take him." I hired him. Never worked a cocktail bar. His first weekend was bad. Luckily, it was a slow season. But on the Sunday, he sent a video to the group chat. So every one of our team, including Chef, saw this video. It was him in his backyard reciting cocktail recipes off cards, like your flip cards. And every time he got a recipe wrong, his girlfriend at the time, would spray water in his face. And then if he got it right, he got to have a drink of beer. And this was something he did because he knew in his brain that's how he had to be trained. You can imagine it's Sunday afternoon, I'm just chilling, and all of a sudden to the whole group is this, and he'd only been with the team for like 5 days. And he sends this video to everybody. And he's like, I'm learning the recipes, boss. I'm like, you do you, buds. If he tasted things, he'd remember it and sell it. If he read about it, he wouldn't be able to retain it. So as a manager, when we get into learning journeys, you have to look at those things as well. How do you train your staff in these new generations? Because it's not like it used to be for us, where you just like get a book, or like before websites, get a book, you learn these things, you have to regurgitate this stuff to your customers. So here's the fun part of my thing, is the learning journeys. So as I said in the interview process, I tell people exactly what they're going to do in their first year. So we're going to go through it line by line, but I tell them exactly what they're going to do, what certifications they're going to get, all the way up to their second year. So when people get into the third year, I actually tell them what they're going to be doing in the third year. So in the interview process, I'm already expecting this staff member to be with me for 2+ years. That's in my brain. That's how I've done it. Cross-training rotations, as I was joking before about a chef coming to the front of house. If you have a small team, this is really, really good. But also, if you walk in another person's shoes, you tend to get the vibe of what they're putting down. So you can rotate you can rotate between bartenders and servers. Bartending and serving is an easy one. It increases your flexibility when it comes to scheduling, and just grows your team, and everybody feels that they've got a stake in the business. I've done everything from dishwashing when I was 18 years old, all the way up to ownership. And my biggest strength, I personally feel, is that whenever I have a repairman come in, I'm over the shoulder of the repairman going, "Hey, how do you fix that?" Because I don't want to pay $150 an hour next time this breaks down. I want to know how to do it myself. They really don't like me a lot of the times. Formal certifications. We're going to get into this one. This one came out of the pandemic for me, because I used to be more old school. It'd be like, okay, let's once a month all get together and do a gin seminar. I'll sit behind the bar, we'll pull some gins out the thing, do that little Gino 101 that I told you that I have up on the website. But then I was like, the industry needs more. There's so many certifications out there now. The industry needs more, and to keep staff happy and engaged and thirsty, formal certifications is the way to go. If you're an accountant at a law firm, my wife is an accountant at a law firm, so I'm using her as an example. She continues doing certifications every year to become a better accountant within the law firm. I try, even at my age, to try and do at least one certification a year. So my certifications are WSET 1, WSET 2, CSS. I'm one of only 80 BNIC certified cognac educators in the world. I've got my Stave and Thief Executive Bourbon Stewardship out of Louisville. Edinburgh Whiskey Academy certification in Irish whiskey, gin, and Scotch. CRT certification in tequila. And I'm looking at doing agave spirits level 1 and 2 from the International Agave Academy next year, early next year. This year's been a little bit crazy. So even myself, I try to lead by example. As you get older, I'm thirsty. I want to do a sherry educator. They've got sherry education. That's really cool. A lot of it's online. You can lead by yourself. Hopefully next year I'll become a certified Armagnac educator. So I'm always hungry for that sort of thing. I like certifications. I like collecting them. It's like Pokemon. You got to collect them all. If I'm a leader in a room, I'm very knowledgeable to hope that I'm one of the most experienced person in that room. But I'm also very humble that I know that chances are kids these days know more about shit that I didn't know at their age now, which is crazy. Leadership development modules. This one's a tough one because I feel once you hit management, you sort of cap out. Like you can still do spirits and stuff like that. So on the 90-day checklist that you can download, I've put 12 audio books or hard copy books for management. So of course you've got Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara, Start With Why by Simon Sinek, Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek, Get Out of Your Own Way by Dave Hollis. I think that one's on there. I just finished that one. Epic book. I listen to audiobooks more so while I'm exercising. So when you become a manager, if you're an owner or a GM, I feel this is something I sort of like had a brainwave when I was doing it. You can buy audiobooks to gift. If the person, again, tangible, non-tangible, if they're a hard copy, sit in bed and read for an hour and a half, don't know how people do that. Although I play video games and watch TV for an hour and a half, that's a different story. But if you're a person that likes reading hard copy books, buy them a book. But audiobooks are a lot of fun, usually give a thing. So what I've started doing and what I'm building is that one audiobook, so 12 audiobooks a year, one audiobook a month. At the end of the month, set up a meeting with your manager or your managers if they're all doing it at the same time. It's always nice if you've got 2 or 3 managers doing it at the same time. Let's reflect on this book. Hey, ChatGPT, write me 10 reflection questions for my management team about this book in the context of my venue, and it will give you 10 great questions. And then sit down and reflect. What did you find good about the book? What didn't you like about the book? What do you think we can build for our business? Is there a new system we can do? So many things. So I feel like management sometimes in hospitality, they sort of like get to the point, it's like, you just run the floor now. You just run the bar now. You should know inventory numbers. That's it. You can grow again. I want you to leave my business as a better human and a better staff member. And then signature project pathway. So this is what we're going to get into next. So these are, oh, wait a second. There we go. So these are the 4 things. I like to put them into verbiage so it's just not that sort of tight corporate style. Onboarding, setting your team up for success. Mental health, I would prefer to hear from you at 3 a.m. in the morning than to hear you're gone. It's a big one because I hate fucking waking up and finding out the friend's gone. Culture, I work for you, not the other way around. This is something I'm very strict about, and it encompasses a whole bunch of stuff as a manager. I can't do, as a manager or an owner, I cannot do what I am setting out to do with my business without you. If you hate me, I'm not going to success in my business or achieve what I want to do in the business. I need you to be on board on the same page, so I work for you, not the other way around. And learning journeys. How can I make you continue to grow? Does anybody in a management role or in a serving role feel a bit stuck right now? Show of hands. That you're like, what am I doing next? Like, am I going to be a consultant? Am I going to own a bar? All good things. Am I going to educate? Do I want to speak? But a manager and owner should always be thinking, how do I make my team grow? Because that goes back to that $2,500. How much does it cost to replace them? So let's talk about continued training. This is my favorite part of this seminar. So Bar Smarts. Bar Smarts is like $29. Make sure you just throw that up, dollars-wise. Oh, no, it doesn't. So Bar Smarts is about $29. I believe now if you actually go to the Bar Smarts website and apply for your venue, you can get it for free. So as soon as someone is onboarded in my business, I have their email address. I will sign them up for Bar Smarts. I'll give them 6 weeks. to do it, and I'll pay them 6 hours worth of labor to do it. That's how long it should take. I'm paying for it, but it's negligible, so I'm going to pay you 6 hours. Next up, love these courses. We were chatting about these ones this morning. No, I was chatting to someone else. Edinburgh Whiskey Academy out of Scotland. Super ridiculous, in-depth courses on gin, Irish whiskey, and Scotch. For how much they are, it is mental how deep they go. History of Irish whiskey, done, $150. Probably a little bit cheaper because it's Canadian, so everything's more expensive in Canada. That will cost you about $450 all in per staff member. WSET 1 level spirits, that says around about $900. So, no, not $900, sorry, $500. So $900 per staff member per year. I try, when I budget my year out, so when I'm sitting down in like November, December to do my yearly budget, I try and budget 1 to 2% of top line revenue strictly on training. So if you're a manager and owner and you get an asked budget, 1 to 2% strictly on training, you will make that money tenfold. When I say $30 a shift, that's not $30 a shift per person, that is $30 a shift. So if you make $600 more in revenue from this training a night, so that $30 a shift is if you're open 300 nights a year, that's not including lunches, just strictly night side services, usually 300 because you've got holidays and closures and whatnot, $30 a shift. If you're open $365 days a year, it's less. To have all of this for 10 staff members. So you're a team of 20, it's going to be $60 a shift. If you can't have your staff members make you $600 back a night to pay for this, it's hell, if they make you $300 back, you gain a 10x ROI on your training. Because people always go, how many times have you gone to a manager and gone, oh, I want to do this training, it's too expensive? It's not. It's really not. If you want to do training, I was talking to someone this morning at a mentorship program. If you want training for your bar, lay it out this way. Okay, I want to do all these courses in the first year for the team. We're open these many days. This is how much per shift it's going to cost. That's not expensive. The fact that we don't have more training like this is mental. Now I could plug actually I'll do that in level 2. So year 2, specialization. So I always do WSET 2, level 2 in their second year. So you've passed your second year anniversary, WSET level 2. If you're a pub, Cicerone training is not that expensive. Everyone knows what a Cicerone is? I was going to do wine training in this, but I was going to go down a rabbit hole. I just want to do examples for year 2. Year 2 I see as like your specialization year. That's the year that you start going, what are you interested in? Let's invest in that. Rum, sherry, American single malts, let's do it. Bourbon, Stave and Thief, course in Louisiana, in Louisville is awesome. If you're a tequila mezcal nerd, because that's popular right now, $250 per person is not that expensive to get level 2. That's crazy, man. Like, and start breaking it down. How many shifts is that person going to work? It works out to cents in the dollar. And this is important because I could plug my own course here. I spent 11 months writing a massive cognac course. And so I've got an intermediate cognac certification on my website as well. But breaking it down to this so that everybody gets up on the same level, it really doesn't cost that much. For $1 a day, you can sponsor one of your staff members to be better educated. But if you build out your learning journey as a manager, so we've got time. We've got just a bit of time. If you're a manager who is keen on training and getting your staff up to date, build a program to take ownership. If you're an owner, I know there's a couple of them here, the owners want to see an ROI on their investment. And it does come off as like, oh, it's going to be expensive. How do I pay for this? It is an upfront cost. If you budget it, put it into your budget, that it won't be so painful. But as a manager, if you're pitching training and sort of break it down this way, if you increase every single per head spend by 5% per guest that comes through your door with training, you are going to pay for this back really quick. And that's the thing, is like, oh, I don't want to spend training because it's too much. Well, what happens if you go from $30 a head to $35 a head across the board for every guest you have come in? I look after the cents, the dollars will look after themselves. So this is exactly my training schedule that I did at Clive's. I know a couple of the team that have been there for 3 or 4 years now are into the Tequila Academy stuff, which is really cool. The Stephen Thief, because Canada doesn't like the US right now, we don't have bourbon, so I really wanted to do bourbon training, but it's tough when you can't get bourbon. So let's talk about the final step, engagement and measuring. As a manager, keeping staff and keeping retention going is a constant process. Stay interviews. Actually, I'm going to ask the question. How many people in this room have got an exit interview when they've left the job in hospitality? Actually, that's more than I expected, to be honest with you. Like, not a how you doing, see you later, fuck off. I said fuck way too many times in this one. It's always the way. But stay interviews. So this goes back to that mental health check-in. Every 6 months. Hey, every quarter, on demand. How you doing? Are you keeping engaged? Are you keeping hungry? Same thing, quarterly one-on-one checks, same thing. Engagement score pulses from your senior staff. It's always nice to sit down and go, how do you feel the team's doing? Again, we get, as general managers and as managers and owners, we sometimes get aloof with business stuff, or the toilet's backed up, or chef's being a dick again and I can't fire him because he's a really good chef. See how many problems you could get rid of if you just fired people. Time to competency tracking. So this is another one. It's a check-in over time. So this could be in the first 3 months. Hey, how you doing? How are you going with the Bar Smarts course? I signed you up for EWA. Do you need help with that? EWA ones, by the way, are all online. Take about 6 hours. I usually, if I've got my whole team signed up, I'll sit down like this and go through the online version. So I'll do it myself first. Then I went through the whole version so they could taste. It's not a tasting course. So we can go, okay, what's vapor infusion? Bombay Sapphire, let's taste it. Irish whiskey, because Irish whiskey can be very confusing. Pot still, so on and so forth. Okay, how do we do this? And your retention and recognition dashboard. This is something you've got to track retention frequency. You have to audit your business on a regular basis. This is from a management position and an ownership position. If you audit your business regularly, you can stay ahead of problems. Because it's sort of always happens where one person leaves and then it starts a cascade of other people leaving because you're not plugged in. And as an owner or a manager not so much, but ownership is tough. You are plugged into so many different receptacles, you sometimes miss the forest from the trees. And it's something that's really tough, and you've got to sort of push yourself to do it, and the stresses can come on your mental health and stuff like that. But your retention and recognition dashboard, I usually do this every 3 months, and this comes along with the same as costing. So I recost my whole entire bar every 3 months. The market changes, how much it charges. I'm going to tell you, BC, Macallan went from $60 a bottle to $120 a bottle in 1 quarter. You can lose a lot of money really quickly if people go, oh, that's a cheap shot of Macallan, and you're selling 3 bottles of Macallan when you should be selling 1 at the higher price. So retention and recognition dashboard is something you should be doing every 3 months. This is all in the downloadable stuff. So my thing is that I'm not going to always be here. I'm not going to always be running venues or consulting. But I really want everybody to set their goals on leaving this industry better than what we found it. My biggest pet peeve is when people go, oh, well, kids these days, they don't want to work as hard as I did coming up. They fucking shouldn't. You shouldn't be in the kitchen working 18-hour days. Now, little sacrifice, a little hard work doesn't hurt anybody, but we shouldn't be expecting the next generation to be working as hard as we do. We should be making the industry better so that people are wanting to come into our industry. You can't complain about a chef shortage when the status quo is 6 days a week, 18-hour days. You can't complain about it. We've set ourselves up for this failure. So we should be making the industry better, because every other industry in the world has got better for the next generation, except for hospitality at times. So I always want to leave it better. You can contact me here. That's the QR code for the download. You just got to put your email address in. Everything's free on there. On that portion of the free resources, you've got Gin 101, a batching calculator, and a slushy machine calculator. I'm talking about that tomorrow on my seminar because I love slushy machines. They make so much money. A break-even calculator, if you're an owner-manager and you want to know what your break-even point is, I have a calculator, you plug in all your expenses, and it'll tell you how much money you should be making. It'll tell you what your per head spend should be if you're open X amount of days. So it breaks down exactly what your target should be. The amount of ownerships I talk to, and they're like, I don't know what my break-even point is, and I don't know what my per head spend is, and I don't know how many covers I did on a Friday. These are all matrices you should know. That's my Instagram. That's my email. That's my podcast. So I'm at 435 episodes now. So if you want to go and check that out. And yeah, has anyone got any questions before we finish up? Yes. Actually, just a second. I got the bar spoon of destiny here. There we go. I tried to find a red tip spoon. Well, if I'm recording, you're not going to have your face. It's just going to be your voice.
I love the spoon. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I was wondering, because we talked about toxicity when it's like a chef or it's somebody in front of house. What if it's the owner chef?
Fire owner chef?
Yeah,
Quit.
and he's there all the time. But like everybody else in the environment when he's not there is phenomenal, and the staff is incredible, and the food is amazing, and the bar program's great, and the chef is a dick.
Is he going to sell his business soon?
No, it's his name on the building.
I did an episode with Dale DeGroff a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about toxicity, and he said, fire your boss. So if Dale DeGroff says it, I'm just repeating what Dale DeGroff said. But honestly, I get your position. I completely understand. You've got a good team. It's a great room. You've got good regulars, that sort of thing. Can your mental health continue with him being a dick? So maybe there needs to be some management intervention. And then go, hey, people hate your guts. Sorry, you're a great chef. I'm not even going to use the C word. Oh, so close. Not in this room. It's my word, by the way. It's an Australian word. The C word is an Australian word. I can say it whenever I want.
It's a great word.
It's tough. I get the situation, but you can't have this fluctuating up and down. You know, I had my, like, again, going through that time I had stresses with the hotel. I had my team sit me down. My lead sat me down. I was like, you're not being cool now. And I'm like, okay, I'll try and deal. That's why I went into therapy. So I had to do it for my team and for my wife and for my daughter and everybody around me. So I was in a really bad mental state. So if you've got management that are willing to like step up and go, you're ruining this place. Again, forest for the trees. Yeah. Sorry. I thought I was going to give you a magic bullet. But Dale DeGroff said, fire your boss.
No, it helps. Thank you for teaching us.
You're welcome. Any other questions, guys? Oh, I like this. I'm going to do this way more often. I want to get one of those spongy mics that you put into a ball and you can throw around the room.
This one's more personal to your history. What got you into focusing on retention and building this kind of program?
I hoped that the pandemic was going to reset our industry. I really hoped that this turn burn mentality was going to stop. That as operators, we're going to be like, we put ourselves in these, we can't get staff. Like, you can get staff. Like, we put ourselves in this position. We put ourselves in a shitty position because we did do the turn and burn. And so post-pandemic, I was championing, I tried to do episodes of my podcast and like really champion it because like I've always had this mentality and I truly thought the pandemic was going to change it for a lot of people. And then I started hearing like, oh, this bar is giving a signing bonus of $500 if you stay for 3 months. Like, we'll hire you, we'll give you $500 at the end of 3 months if you stay with us. I'm like, that's still turn and burn. You're just doing it 3 months later. Like, it doesn't make sense. So I want to try and change that narrative of like, what if they leave? Like, what if they stay? Like we talk about family, we talk about looking after each other, we talk about kumbaya at festivals like this. It's like, what if they just hang out and like really learn your business and expand and grow within your organization? So yeah, it was just one of those things I was hoping for a change and then it didn't, and I was like pissy about it.
Yeah. Spite, I got you.
I was just like, this is a load of shit. How we doing? Any more questions?
How would you highlight or bridge a gap to management about there already is an existing turnover rate and kind of polish up a better environment?
Download my 90-day thing. I'm not saying that's going to fix everything. And then try and quantify it into dollars. Because that's the thing, is that $2,500 mark, so many people just don't know how much it costs to replace staff. Because it's the hospitality industry. We're cruisy. We live in the gray, like thin little layers of black and white. Like our industry is not black and white. It's not like we have an organization every year going, this is how much turnover we had. This is how much money it costs the industry, that sort of thing. We don't have those sort of organizations, say like accountants or lawyers do. Put it into black and white and tell them how much money it costs. Like try and explain to them, like, if you lose 10 staff, it's going to cost you $25,000 minimum, but I want you to spend $9,000 on training. And I think it's a frank conversation, and it's try and be as transparent conversation as possible. It's super tough changing up culture. The 9-day checklist that I've got that sort of accompanies all this may help a little bit. But yeah, it's about like just putting it, because 9 times out of 10, it's just people don't know. Managers don't know, ownership doesn't know. You know, like how many times people have taken over bar management positions and you're like, oh, what's our liquor cost supposed to be? And the ownership or the management go, like, what do you mean you don't know? What do you mean you don't know your budgeted liquor cost? You should know this. This is very fucking important. What's your labor? Labor's this. What's a dollar figure? What is a percentage? Oh, it's this. It's okay. Like the amount of people I talk to is like, oh, our labor has to be this dollar figure. I'm like, what if you do twice as many sales? Your labor figure is not going to be a dollar amount. It has to be a percentage. So it's just about like gently nurturing knowledge in, I think. 9 times out of 10, it is literally they just don't know. Oh, we got a question from an owner now. Now I'm scared. I saw you put your hand up.
What do you say to staff who aren't interested in certifications?
You mandate it. I had someone ask me that this morning. You mandate it. Like, as an owner, like I think you set the tone. It's your business. And I always say that you can have great staff that are great right now. Are they going to be great staff with what you want to build? I've had plenty of staff that have been amazing staff, but I also know when they've left or moved on that 12 months later, they probably wouldn't have fitted in and probably not wanted to move forward with the program. You set the tone, you're the owner, you're paying the bills, you keep the lights on, mandate it. Say, this is what I want to do. If you don't like it, again, it comes down to those transparent conversations like, hey, Susie, you've been with me for 10 years. This is what I want to do in the next year. Are you up for this? I will help you. I'll nurture you. I'll walk you through it. We'll sit down, taste gin together if you want to do a gin certification. There's ways that you can build it. Perfect story is when I took over Clive's in 2009, the first time round, we had a server who'd been there for 22 years. Old Asian guy named George. George was awesome, but he worked in the place that was in that space before called Victoria Jane's, an old 1970s, 1980s English pub, divey, good regulars, but they weren't making any money. Spent $650,000 on the renovation in 2009. It's 1 point something now. And then they invited all the old regulars back. They hired me. I'm like, cool. I wanted to turn into not a fancy, but like a old school European style hotel bar. And that's sort of the direction we went. I had a petition go around the old regulars and some of the staff to have me fired, which is a really awkward conversation to have with your food and beverage director when you're changing things, not playing sports with sound on and jugs of beer and nacho Saturdays. But we've changed, and we're one of the most awarded cocktail bars in Canada. But George fought me on everything, absolutely everything I started with. Then I got like an absinthe fountain because we want to be European, got an absinthe fountain. He's like, it tastes like medicine. But then he realized as a server that people were coming in for absinthe, and that was making him bank. And then all of a sudden he's like, he'd walk up to tables at the end just before the thing. He's like, hey, his English wasn't great, even though he'd been in the country for 50 years. He'd be like Grandpa George. He'd be walking like, hey, you want a round of absinthe? And we'd be like, oh, George, yeah, let's have a round of absinthe. And he then realized that we were making it busier, and he was walking with more money in his pocket. And he was getting better, and he could understand why we were doing these certifications and training and all sorts of stuff. He stayed there for another, 10 years after I took over, and like another 6 years after I left. And he stayed on and retired there. So when I came in, and he's like, oh, I came in for the last night for his retirement, and the managers came in. I was like, oh, George, you really made Clive's. And he's like, no, I didn't. This dude did. I haven't been there for like 6 years. But I think if you explain to staff, and someone mentioned this, well, if you train your staff, they will make more money. That's it, just period. If you put 10% more on every single bill, that is 20% of that 10% in your pocket. Certifications work. You'll be more confident talking about people. You'll upsell everything. So as an owner, I think you just have to mandate. It's like, again, it goes back to that transition, that transparency of the interview process. I know if you've got existing staff, have a staff meeting. Go, hey guys, just came back from Portland Cocktail Week, heard this amazing Australian speaker. He told us we're going to do this. And this is what we're going to do. How does everybody feel about that? You get them rolled up because you're all rolled up. Like, restaurants always plateau. I'm about to take over a 40-year-old legacy restaurant that I helped reopen in 2017. It's a Mexican tequila agave bar. I know going in, staff are going to be shaken up. But I also want to keep the staff. They're great, amazing, but I'm going to tell them exactly from day one, these are my things. This is what we're going to do. These are my non-negotiables. This is the training we're going to do. And get everybody on board from day one. Any other questions, guys? What time is it? 5 past 5. Thank you so much, guys, for coming out. I really appreciate it.